So the NXL Atlantic City Open layout came out today, and I'm just going to give you guys a rundown of how I approach looking at the layout the first day it comes out, and try to get a good feel for what I want to try at practice, and really try to think some scenarios out and what sides might be aggressive or less aggressive, before I even step out on the field. So. You normally when it's released, right? Everyone sees these posts from NXL on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. You see the grid. I like looking at all angles. Honestly, I like the 3D view because you can kind of get a sense for the big bunkers that are in the way. So I kind of just get a pretty, generic look at the field without trying to get too specific. So, I mean, looking at this right off the bat, first thing I notice is that there's a humongous brick in the back center. I feel like it's like first thought that pops into my mind, it's going to be hard to dig people out of there if they really want to stay alive. I think that it looks pretty easy to make the baby and the money. We haven't named these bunkers, but just kind of going off what we normally name things. And even the God, it looks like these are pretty low bunkers, but it looks like shooting on the break would be hard to really hit a lot of these spots. And that gap in between Snake 1 and the God is pretty short. So I'll kind of show you guys how I actually try to line up the shots on the grid to really get a good indication of who can shoot what. But I just try to look at it without getting too complicated at first. So first impression is it looks kind of hard to shoot people on the snake side on the break, which also means, it's probably easy to be aggressive on the snake side. So that's sort of first impressions. Second impression about the middle. First impression about the middle. So that's first impression about snake side. First impression about the middle is that I like that there's not a bunch of big bunkers all around the middle. It seemed like Vegas and Dallas with these new wedges, they just, they were trying to wean off the W and weave in the wedges. So they basically built a fortress in the middle that was not that much different than the W, in my opinion. So this looks different than the W. It's not just some big thing that people get lost behind. Dallas and Vegas, it was sort of difficult to keep track of where that guy was. He could bounce in between 5 bunkers, and it was really hard to tell. To me, this looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward to tell where someone is. But I think that's why this brick probably looks pretty good, because I think you'll be able to release up into here or up into here, and you can get up the middle from a few different routes, and I'm pretty sure when we look at this, a round like this, shooting this way probably has shots. Going that heads up probably has shots. This heads, I don't know. I'm sure there's some shots on the break to be taken going to those spots. But if someone's in here and they're camped on you this way or this way, I feel like it's gonna be easier to tell if he's in there. Where in Dallas, he could be in the other wedge looking that way, or he could be in this ledge looking that way, or he could be in the center 50, or the brick over here, or the brick over here. And same kind of with Vegas. So I like that the middle is a little more. It's not. I don't know. It feels a little more straightforward, which is going to help people not second guess moves from here to here and here to here, where those moves might have been available in the previous layouts, but you might have second guessed them or not taken them because the risk reward wasn't there, because you're well, somebody could be here camped this way, and I just don't know. I know there's 5 or 4 guys left, and probably, but it seems like you'll be able to, one, tell if someone goes up here on the middle, and then from there he's really only got a couple spots to go to. So I kind of like that. Dorito's side also looks pretty difficult to shoot on the break, maybe. Probably this way, shooting across like that will probably have some shots, but it looked like they might be blind over the pin. So even though there's bunkers in the way, I still kind of look at it as okay, that's tall, that's tall. But if I maybe step out here, it looks like I have a really good lane to this guy right here. But still doesn't look like anything glaring, it's really hard to get wide. This is halfway to the corner. Those zones are not very high percentage the past few seasons, so I feel like you could sprint past that and make this. It looks like once you're in that corner, you know, if you're in here as the 2, and you're looking down to like hold that 1, he's got a lot of options to like dive short into, I guess this is Dorito 1, the tower. He could dive low into here, and basically once he's there, if you look at the tape line, you know, that's wider than the tower, and that's wider than the tower. I feel like you could wrap this low, and it feels like you can climb the Doritos, if you want to call them Doritos. You know, I wouldn't say easy, but it doesn't look hard. Um, so, yeah, that's sort of my first impressions of the layout and kind of what I look at just from a high level when I see the new, you know, the grid come out. So another thing I do